I'm Christina Loukas, and I'm a two-time USA Olympian. I started diving when I was about 12 years old, and I made my first World Championship team in 2005, and that was when I started competing for the USA. And in 2008, I actually made my first Olympic team, and that was in Beijing, and I finished 9th place. And I made my second Olympic team in 2012, and that was in London, and I finished in 8th place. I grew up in playing a lot of sports. My family is very competitive, and I don't like to lose, so I just really enjoyed competing in sports, and diving came pretty easy to me with my gymnastics background, and I ended up sticking to that. And when I started getting recruited by colleges, that's when I realized I had the opportunity to take it to the next level. When I went to college, I talked to the coach, and I told him that was my long-term goal, was making the team, and I wasn't really expecting to make it in 2008. And I ended up winning Olympic trials, and that put me on the team. So that was probably one of my greatest moments, was making that first Olympic team, and it was just an amazing experience. After 2008, I had one more year of college eligibility, so I had to compete one last year for my college. And I was really burnt out after the Olympics. I didn't take a lot of time off, and I started having some mental blocks. And this was a really hard time for me, and I dealt with it for a full year. And in 2010, I was at this point where I was kind of depressed, and I wasn't happy. I wasn't enjoying diving anymore, and it was just really hard for me emotionally. So I decided to quit diving. At that point, I didn't know if I'd ever make it back to diving or if I was going to be done for good. So people had a really hard time understanding why I made that decision, but for me, I knew that's what I had to do at the time. I took maybe like 8 months off, I think, and I started to realize there were so many more things I wanted to accomplish in diving, and that's when I decided to look for a different place to train, just to start fresh. After London, I decided to take a step back away from diving and try something else with my life. I was just ready to do new things. So the career I think that I would be best at would be a physical therapist. So that's what I'll be doing next. Set a goal that may or may not be out of reach, but just set a goal and go after it. Do everything you can that's in your power to accomplish it. And whether or not you do it, just enjoy the journey along the way, and there's going to be ups and downs, but just don't have regrets.